Hey, what's going on, guys? I decided today was the day to do another reaction video. It's been quite a while, and I found just the right video. Go on over. This is DC Network, by the way, for those of you that don't know. He specializes in cartoon content, and yeah, as you can tell, it's Cartoon Network for the most part. Boomerang and that ask of stuff. He talks about a lot of the moves and the main plots, and yeah, he even goes over like schedules and like other topics. I love his channel, and yeah, he's one of my YouTube inspirations. You know what I mean? A lot of one day I get a comment from him, but only one can dream. Anyway, the video is Warner Brothers Discovery doesn't care about Cartoon Network. Well, they shut down this channel, or the channel. My bad. Get into the video, guys. Let's go.
Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. Warner Brothers Discovery clearly doesn't care about Cartoon Network, and this is something that we've discussed in the past, but really watching the channel now, it's just become so apparent that they really just have no regard for the channel and really don't care what happens to the brand. The only thing they really care about regarding Cartoon Network is whatever marketable IPs that the network has under its umbrella. So what I mean by this is anything they can make more money off of by making a new iteration of that show. So
But you know, the reason they do this, I've commented this before, it's hard to mimic success. And the best way to try and mimic it is taking something that exists that's doing really well. It's kind of like them taking the risk out of the equation. There's not a lot of risk whenever you're already using a pre existing property because you're trying to bring back the same type of people or people that kind of grew up around that show or content, and thus it drags new and old. Whenever you got a new property, you're having to recreate the will basically, and that's a lot of risk. Okay? You take something that has nothing, you're building it from the ground up completely. Pre existing, you're able to at least go even at the least. That's the reason. So I do understand it from a business point. It is so risky to go in on a new property and get it done, you know? You got a lot of money, you're having to pay these people to do these shows. You know, and like the biggest part is planning all this. That's the biggest thing about it too. But yeah, it's really hard to tell like every detail to detail because it just kind of just depends. You know what I mean? Some people are like very well prepared, but even then I've seen a lot of shows just flop. You know, they had so much potential, just flops. They didn't have enough content that was creative. Even Toonami does this from time to time. They'll have like a really great show, but I'm like, there's not enough for this to be mimicked yet again.
for example, like Adventure Time with Heyo Bimo, Side Quest, Fiona and Cake, and the movie that's in development, or with regular show, how they're making a new series within that world, or the Powerpuff Girls, and so on and so on. That's the only way they really care about Cartoon Network. When you watch the channel,
I do want to say, like Fiona and Cake, you're building upon a world. Powerpuff Girls, you're just reusing the property to reuse the property. So we need to look at it like two different ways. At least they're being creative and taking somewhat of a risk on taking a beloved universe and trying to expand it rather than keep it enclosed and trying to, I guess you would say, downplay it. I feel like a lot of the times this is what happens. Same thing happened with Teen Titans, but it ended up being successful, right? Teen Titans Go, it's loved. It's still airing new episodes, right? So, yeah, I don't know everything about Cartoon Network, but I do know that at least.
itself and you see what new shows are coming to it, it's very apparent that they really don't care about the channel and don't care what happens to it, which is just a shame to be seeing because Cartoon Network, obviously it's not the biggest thing that Warner Brothers owns. Obviously it's not their big
You're forgetting about Adult Swim. Adult Swim is one of their big breadwinners when it comes to this channel. A lot of this new content. Uzumaki. Let's not forget about Uzumaki. That's a big move. Even though Rick and Morty, the anime, isn't the biggest thing to come out, it was pretty big. You know, at least for that first initial episode, pretty big. My Adventures as Superman. Yeah. Oh, Smiling Friends as well. The list is pretty big for Adult Swim. That's the big part of the reason this channel is still alive. Let's not forget. And then you have Checker Past, which it goes back and forth from time to time, and you've already talked about this, how it's repetitive. I agree with you completely, but it gets people to tune in and go a little deeper into the Adult Swim stuff, because not everyone is watching TV. I just hate to be saying it, but yeah, a lot of people are pirating it and so on, but then they'll legally stream the actual shows, and yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about right now. I'm just yammering, but continue on.
Moneymaker. They have a lot bigger properties under their umbrella, such as, like DC, all of those superheroes and stuff like that. But Cartoon Network was always a brand that they at least treated with care, and they at least gave it the time and respect that it deserved. They put some effort into the channel, and I just feel like nowadays with Cartoon Network, it just lacks.
I don't think it was really high effort. I think they were just pushing out a bunch of shows, and quite a few of them did succeed. I don't think there was any like recipe here. That's kind of what they were doing. They were just trying to bring as many shows out, and they were just trying to axe as many as they could down that weren't making the numbers that they wanted. It just kind of shows. All these properties, as far as I know, I haven't even seen a lot of these. So you got like Craig of the Creek. I don't even know where this came from. Gumball, I don't even remember where it came from. I just knew it was very successful. It's a great series, don't get me wrong, but it kind of came out of nowhere, as far as I'm aware. Regular Show came out of nowhere, as far as I'm aware as well. Adventure Time, same thing, but it was very successful, and yeah, I mean, like, basically, a lot of these shows just came out of nowhere. They just came out of the sewer, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah. But it took a lot of time, and it was like a successful crap project. So if they start doing that again, we'll see a lot more success if they keep throwing them out there. But yeah, I think people are going to be really upset about that too, if there was just a bunch of crappy shows rerunning over and over. Well, not rerunning, just coming out for the first couple times, then they axe them, people get attached, and then, I just don't think that's the way to go, because you have money going out, and that's like a loss if you can't use it for anything at all.
Vision, it's very clear that they don't care about the channel, and they really aren't even putting any effort in with it. Like, if you look at the lineup that's on the air,
and I wasn't calling those shows like low effort. I'm just saying, I just felt like they came out of nowhere. They're just like pooping out a bunch of shows, and those are the ones that lasted.
The schedule itself isn't bad. It's better than it was under Christina Miller, because with Christina Miller, it was just the Teen Titans Go and the Amazing World of Gumball Network. That's pretty much all that ever aired on the channel. So at least now we have some semblance of variety there. So that's a good thing. That's a positive. But when it comes to new shows airing on the channel, there's really nothing. Like I said,
technically, hear me out. Cartoonito has been bringing out some new stuff. I know this was stuff that was pre-announced, but there was some surprises, I'm pretty sure. A lot of these like new baby shows, and I think there's even more coming out. Maybe at least one more. I know one came out today. You got Barney's World, Monkey, or Banana something. I don't know, but those are like some new shows. Now, it's not Cartoon Network, but it is Cartoonito, which is a part of Cartoon Network. Just thought I might add that. So eventually we'll look at that Foster Home for Imaginary Friends little show. But yeah.
I said this in other videos, but there are like 4 or 5 shows that are actually ongoing that are on Cartoon Network. And by ongoing, I mean they are producing new episodes, but these episodes air here and there. You don't have weekly episodes like we used to get back.
Oh, they're living off that money, off the replay value. Think about it. They don't have to pay anyone. I don't think anyone's really getting paid besides them. Yeah. I think that's how it goes, You have to pay these writers, you have to pay the people drawing these pictures, the animators, and so on and so on. Bringing new episodes is like a day in the past. They like to wait around, rub their hands at that big old check. But to be honest, I don't know how exactly that like whole process, so I couldn't really tell you. But I do know a lot of people are having to get paid to make those episodes. So, yeah, it's just cheaper to keep her running the same stuff.
Back in the day, it's like you'll get an episode maybe once every few months during a week. You'll get 5 episodes, and then you won't see it again for another 5 or 6 months. And it's just a shame to me, because what is the allure to Cartoon Network? Like, what is getting people to tune to the channel? And there's...
I mean, right now, if you think about it like this, Scooptober, but, yeah, you'd have to be really looking at the network earlier in the day, which is kind of a rough fit if you think about it. You know, you have these kids that don't get home till like later in the evening. We're playing it in the early, early, early afternoon, which I think is kind of questionable. So, is there a reason to tune in? No, I feel like YouTube has more options to it right now.
There's really nothing right now. And if you look at the channel as well, as we've seen over the past year with it, a lot of the stuff that was being produced for Cartoon Network is being moved off of the channel to Adult Swim, like My Adventures with Superman, like Unicorn War.
I mean, I hate to break it to everyone out there, but Adult Swim is just destroying everything. It's became like the best place to go for cartoons in general.
Eternal, and that trend is going to continue this year because
And let me just say this: if you're American, one of the best places to go and watch anime, Toonami. That's it. Legally, Toonami. Besides, like, you know, your official streaming websites, but I thought I might add that too. If you're watching actual television, yeah, Toonami, Adult Swim. That's all I gotta say.
Invincible Fight Girl was supposed to premiere on Cartoon Network this year in 2024, and it's since been moved to Adult Swim.
I'd rather it be on Adult Swim. That one I feel like has a lot of potential. You gotta remember, if it's on Adult Swim, they're gonna go and explore topics they couldn't explore on Cartoon Network. That's a big part of the reason they can't explore certain topics, because it's geared towards children. They're having to play this like brain dead game with children. Stuff that was like, whenever we were younger, right? Content was based a little differently. It was more PG, even though you needed a parent and guardian there. Now everything feels like it's rated G. You have like the Teen Titans Go. Yeah, some of it feels like it's PG, but it's just downplayed a bit more than it should, in my opinion.
Though they say it's coming in 2024, there's not a whole lot of 2024 left, so it remains to be seen whether or not that show is actually still coming this year. We'll make a video on that at some point in the future to dive into that topic a bit deeper. But nevertheless, it's just very clear that Warner Brothers Discovery doesn't care about Cartoon Network. If you look at I didn't talk about this, but if you look at what's happening with Steven Universe right now, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Steven Universe is currently airing reruns on Discovery Family, which is a rather weird thing to be seeing.
That's not weird. I think that's using your properties the best that they can. They're stretching it out, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like this is smart. It gives them content. Even though I feel like Discovery is kind of a weird channel in itself, it's airing like cooking shows and stuff like that. It just, yeah, kind of an oddity.
Cartoon Network original show premiering on something other than Cartoon Network, that's obviously a bit of an oddity, as all of the prior shows that we've ever had have really not aired anywhere but Cartoon Network or Boomerang or Adult Swim, which obviously those are all under the same umbrella.
I do think eventually Boomerang's going to end up being like a 2000s rerun. But yeah, it's slowly happening over time. We just have to see. Right now they're doing a lot of the like Looney Tunes and stuff like that. But if I'm gonna watch a Boomerang based like channel, just go get MeTV Tunes. All you need is a little antenna and you're hooked. You're good. You can also pay for the service and get that. And there's a lot of great content for free on there. Man, you got Super Friends, and you even have hints at more stuff to come. Gosh, yeah, this weekend's gonna be insane with that big marathon for Super Friends. Anyway, I don't want to get too off topic.
All a part of the same family, but now we have Steven Universe going to Discovery Family. I'm going to preface what I'm saying by saying that I don't know that much about Discovery Family. I don't even know what shows they have on the channel, but from the outside looking in, it's like, okay, we're taking a rather successful Cartoon Network original and throwing it on Discovery Family for what purpose? Why?
What's the purpose? It gives you a new set audience. People want to watch this show, and if all you have is television, now you're forced to go to this network and get them some numbers up. It's a numbering game.
Why isn't this show airing reruns on Cartoon Network itself? You know, the brand that actually produced the show.
You know, these people don't want to get fired. They need to get them numbers. I don't care if it's like a mock number. I'm going to be honest. A lot of these numbers are just mock numbers, you know? Eventually, everything's going to get axed. That's just what I gotta say. It's going to end or it's going to go away. And what these people do is they try to bring shows like this. Oh, now I have to. Oh, all I have is television. Now I have to tune into here to watch Steven Universe. You know what I'm saying, kind of.
The company that made the show,
and that's just a big brain move to ever put it on that Discovery Family Network, or is it Discovery Family? Yeah, I think that's the one. They have so many like channels.
Cartoon Network Studios, that is. Why don't we have that airing reruns on the channel itself, a part of the weekly schedule, as opposed to
because Discovery runs them.
Just shifting it off to Discovery Family. This is what I mean by the fact that they just don't care about Cartoon Network. It's like they have Discovery Family. Again, I don't really know what's going on with...
Actually, it's Warner Brothers, my bad. I don't know what I'm talking about.
That channel. I don't pay any attention to it. They have Cartoon Network, and it's like they're juggling which one to put effort into. Which one should they put shows on?
I think eventually, this is my estimate, Boomerang's gonna get balanced. I see what the future Boomerang is, and it's a matter of time before someone actually sees the full thing to do here. You take Checkered Past and you basically add it into a block on that channel. We go out with the old, in with the early 2000s as stuff, and just go in on that. This is what you need to be focusing on. 2000s and that esque of stuff. Go a little further back. And you can do blocks based around that type of stuff. That way we can make way for some new stuff. It's a matter of time before Cartoon Network gets the time cut even shorter than now. That's where I see it. I don't think that Cartoon Network needs as much time now. I don't think there's that many kids watching the channel. It's probably them being held hostage by their parents to watch it at this point. Let's be honest.
Channel, which one should they have reruns air on? And it's like, I just don't understand really what the longevity of Cartoon Network is here, or what they're thinking it is, if they're not doing anything with it. Like, if Cartoon Network, I've said this in the past when it was still, AT&T, Warner Media owning it, is Cartoon Network going to be around in 5 years? Like, that's a genuine question that I have, because they're doing absolutely nothing with it.
Oh, wait till you see Nickelodeon. They have a ton of rerun channels. You'd be pressed about that one. So, this isn't even the worst. This is probably better than whatever Nickelodeon's doing in their mess. But, yeah, there again, it's my opinion. Oh, you want to know one that's even worse? Disney. Disney, they only play one show on their channel.
They're doing absolutely nothing with the brand. They shut down the website. They shut down the studio location to have it merge with Warner Brothers Animation. And essentially what they're doing is there's one team working on animated projects at Warner Brothers Discovery, or, one wing, I should say, of the company, one division of the company. And essentially they're just producing stuff under the Warner Brothers Animation umbrella and the Cartoon Network Studios umbrella, and they pick and choose which goes under which umbrella. That's essentially what it seems like to me is happening. So with all of that being said, with all of that that's happened, does Cartoon Network really have a future? Does Cartoon Network have a place?
They're always going to have a place. Even if they die today, they will get revived in the future. Everything gets revived. We don't have to worry. The channel may eventually die, but I think it's safe to say we will always have Adult Swim. I don't see them going away anytime soon. Cartoon Network, I mean, it's in people's hearts, man. You still have people talking about Hanna-Barbera and Boomerang, and it's been a dead zone for even longer than this, if I had to be honest.
Within Warner Brothers Discovery's future plans, or is it something that's going to fade away over the next 5 years? As I said before, the name of Cartoon Network is not going to disappear because they still have properties under that.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically what I was trying to say. No, I'm just... I won't lie, today I've been just yapping about nonsense, but hey, it's all about heart, you know what I'm saying? I'm out here just kind of throwing myself out here, you feel me?
Umbrella that were created by Cartoon Network Studios that the company sees as money makers for them, right? There's going to be another Ben 10 that's going to be made by Cartoon Network Studios. That's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, that is true. All these shows, eventually it's a matter of time before they get some type of sequel or rejuvenation of some sort. So you're not wrong.
They probably won't even get rid of the name Cartoon Network Studios just because it is a well-regarded animation studios from the 2000s and 2010s. But the brand of Cartoon Network itself, the channel itself, that's...
It'd be really wild if some, rich billionaire came and bought it from Warner Brothers and, basically made it into what it once was. That's my thoughts. So,
what's in danger here. That's what's potentially going to disappear over time. I could see Cartoon Network very easily just turn into a label on Max, and that's the future of Cartoon Network. That's the future of the brand.
I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. I still think it's got potential to live. I think there's always going to be a place for these type of cartoons. Like I said, this is the new generation's childhood. It's not Boomerang and Hanna-Barbera type stuff and all of that. That's older, you know. That's not our generation. We grew up with it around us a little bit, or like a big part. You know what I mean? More major than a lot of other stuff. But we had this for the majority of our childhoods. This is going to be like our childhood, like the Looney Tunes is for people before us.
Because the channel itself might end up disappearing. I don't think they're going to pull the plug on the channel completely. I don't think they're going to say, okay, whatever channel Cartoon Network is on your cable provider, they're going to say, okay, we're going to axe that channel completely. It's going to be pulled off the air. I don't think that's going to happen. It's just a matter of what do they do with the channel. As we've seen, Adult Swim's taken a lot more time.
No, you're right. I don't think they're going to axe it anytime soon, today or this year. I think this is probably like years and years down the road. But, yeah, like, you never know what's going to happen ever. Anything can happen at any moment. They can give you like a last moment notice and they can be like, hey, well, we're kind of broke. We got to get rid of this. But I don't think they're going to do that to us. The naming's always going to be there, and if worst comes to worst, they fail now, someone else may dig it from the grave.
Time away from Cartoon Network. Does at a certain point it completely take over the channel? I highly doubt it, but Cartoon Network itself right now, it's kind of on life support, and I really don't see it getting much better over the next few years, which is such a sad thing to be saying, because if you're someone like me, someone who grew up with this brand, someone who grew up watching this channel every single day when you got home from school, it's kind of sad to see what they've done to it, because yeah, it's not meant for us anymore. I'm well aware of that. We're not the target demographic for Cartoon Network anymore, but the kids today are missing out on what we experienced. They're missing out on coming home at 4.
Yeah, we're feeling like people that watch Boomerang that are older. It brings them back. You see MeTV Toons? That's nostalgia for someone. All those shows, we may not be able to like remember these. We may be seeing these for the first time, but that's someone's childhood. That is the difference. This is the new generation's childhood. So it's a matter of time. If they're smart, we take this and we make it into what Boomerang was. May have to reinvent something there, but that's all I'm saying. That would be a step in the right direction right there.
O'clock every day, watching Maguzi on the air, seeing reruns of Naruto, the original Ben 10, Code Lyoko, Totally Spies, or whatever other show you remember watching on Cartoon Network back in the day. They're coming home from school, turning on Cartoon Network at 3, 4 o'clock, seeing, regular show on for an hour at 4, which is a phenomenal.
I don't know if there's that many kids tuning into this. I think a lot of them are watching YouTube and not Cartoon Network itself. They're not able to get this because, well, a lot of people have dropped cable. Let's be honest. That's a big part of it. And the people that are paying for it, what are they watching? That is the question. Like, if you have cable out there, I'm just curious. What are you watching? Not that I'm questioning you. I'm just wondering, like, what do you watch?
Series, and I quite frankly tune into it a lot when I can, because who wouldn't want to see more regular show? But then it switches off at 5 o'clock to Checkered Past, which they get to see some classic Cartoon Network series that we grew up on, which again, great thing to be seeing on the channel. But then after that at 7 o'clock you get King of the Hill on, you get Bob's Burgers on, and that's when the channel falls apart. Because I remember when I was a kid, I'd come home from school, I'd take a break for a little bit.
Okay, I gotta say, I love King of the Hill. I can't. Don't slander King of the Hill. I love that show. Bob's Burgers, I don't know how I feel about it. American Dad I do like on the channel. It feels like, I'm not saying they're saying Bob's Burgers is bad. It's just, it's one of those newer ones, and if I'm going to be watching Adult Swim, it's just not a show that I would watch on Adult Swim. It's something that I would watch illegally on YouTube or stream myself. That's just how I feel about it. I do like the show though.
Watch some Cartoon Network, maybe around like 5 o'clock. I'd start doing my homework. Then after dinner, I'd watch Cartoon Network again. I'd watch it until it switched off to Adult Swim at 10 p.m. Kids today get it switched off at 7 p.m. So what are they watching at that point? That's again what I feel bad for.
You know what they're watching these days? They're watching Kai Cenat, Aiden Ross, those new phase guys, all that type of stuff. That's what they're watching today. That is what we do know. They're not watching cartoons like they once did. And if they are, you probably wouldn't want to know what they're watching. It's probably something insanely different. Oh, and they're playing video games. That's the other thing. They're like marathoning Fortnite and games like that, and Call of Duty, because kids have started doing stuff that we didn't do till like later on. I mean, a lot of us, yeah, we played video games at a young age, but dude, these kids are like, they have an iPad like as soon as they're born. They're like, mom's like, here's an iPad, quit crying. You see what I'm saying? They're like, entertainment has switched from what ours once was.
I feel bad for today's generation.
And I hate to say this, but I feel like we're one of the last generations where TV was really big. You know, now these days, people just don't really care about it. The reason you have a TV is to play video games and to stream your Netflix and etc.
Of kids, because what is their Cartoon Network? They don't have a Cartoon Network. I remember at one point recently, Cartoon Network, they had like their slogan being like, this is your Cartoon Network, or something of the sort, something like that. At face value, that's a great slogan to be having, but when you dive a little bit deeper into it, it's like, this is your Cartoon Network. Well, what is my Cartoon Network?
Your Cartoon Network, it's basically saying this is your generation's Cartoon Network. This is what you remember. And it's kind of depressing, because it's like playing on depression too, if you think about it. It's sitting there saying their channel's kind of depressing. I feel like the checkered past, it's the past. It's like your memories, but it's also depressing if you think about it in today. I think that's what it really is. It's kind of like Adult Swim's darker humor.
Because there's not really anything on the channel, and it's very apparent that Warner Brothers Discovery, the parent company, the parent organization that owns this brand, doesn't really care about it. So why should I? Anyways, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. What do you guys think about Cartoon Network and the whole situation that's going on with it right now? Do you think it's gonna get shut down over the next 5 years? Obviously, this is something that's been discussed at length over the past few years, but now it feels like we're getting closer and closer to that maybe becoming a reality, which again is rather sad to say. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Well, I mean, I don't see it shutting down in 5 years, but if we look at 10, maybe 10. But I'd like to say Adult Swim is at least on the upside, and that's going to help with Cartoon Network. Now, will Cartoon Network's block go down? Will we get less of it? There's a good chance. I don't think many kids are watching Cartoon Network. It's just reruns. Might as well rerun some Adult Swim shows. I will be honest, I never get tired of Adult Swim shows. Some of these cartoon shows, I can get tired because some of them don't have many episodes, if I'm being quite honest. But yeah, I feel like I've yapped a little too much on this video. I do apologize, but hey, DC Network, I love your mind, man. I think it's great, and I do see where you're coming from completely. A lot of the stuff you're saying, you're spot on, man. You are spot on. Basically, majority of this, all spot on. I, most of the time, do agree with every single opinion that you pretty much put out there. Just a little fun reaction video. It wouldn't be a fun reaction without me kind of going off the cuff. Anyway, hope you guys stay safe. And as always, peace